இப்போ நான் 31 ஆண்டுகளாக நான் வந்து இந்த சட்ட போராட்டம் மட்டும்தான் என் மனசுக்குள்ளே இருக்கு இவ்வளோ காலமாக இருந்திருக்கு. இப்போ தான் அதிலிருந்து மீண்டு வந்திருக்கிறேன்.
It was a struggle of 31 long years. On May 18th, AG Perarivalan, one of the 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, became a free man. The Supreme Court invoked its special powers under Article 142 of the Constitution to order his release. His release has been welcomed by many politicians, activists, and those in the legal fraternity. There is, of course, a section of people, including the families of victims who died along with Rajiv Gandhi, who strongly believe that the Supreme Court's decision is unwarranted. So, what are the several twists and turns in this 30-year-long legal battle? And why did Perarivalan's case see many people come out in support of a man who had once been sentenced to death? Let me explain. Perarivalan's story begins in the 1980s when the civil war in Sri Lanka broke out. Like him, hundreds of young men and women in Tamil Nadu openly supported the LTTE and were sympathetic to the Tamil Eelam cause. On May 21st, 1991, former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in Sri Perambuttur during an election campaign. He was killed by an LTTE suicide bomber named Dannu, who detonated the bomb when she bent down to touch his feet. That day, 16 people, including Rajiv Gandhi, were killed. 45 people were critically injured. 3 weeks later, on June 11th, Perarivalan was arrested by the CBI and booked under the Terrorism and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act. He was 19 at the time and had just completed his diploma in electronics and communication. He was charged for supplying 2 9-volt batteries to Thiagarajan, the LTT member who masterminded Rajiv Gandhi's assassination. These 2 batteries were believed to have been used in the bomb that ultimately killed Rajiv Gandhi and the others. In January 1998, the trial court sentenced 26 accused, including Perarivalan, to death. The court, of course, had other reasons as well to convict Perarivalan. He had been to Sri Lanka to meet with LTTE chief Prabhakaran and had also printed some literature for the LTTE. In May 1999, the Supreme Court upheld the death sentence awarded to Perarivalan, Nalini, Murugan and Santhan. Significantly, the apex court acquitted all of them of terrorism charges. The death sentence was awarded for murder. In Perarivalan's case, more than any other factor, it was his confessional statement that led to 2 judges of the Supreme Court bench to conclude that he was aware of the plot to assassinate Rajiv Gandhi. The 3rd judge, Justice K.T. Thomas, who headed the bench, felt that the confessional statement could only be used as corroborative evidence. However, he too eventually sided with his brother judges. Following the Supreme Court judgment, Perarivalan and the others filed a mercy petition with the Tamil Nadu governor. In the year 2000, Governor Fatima Bibi commuted the death sentence of Nalini on the grounds that she is a woman and has a daughter. She, however, rejected the mercy petitions of the other convicts. They then approached the president. By then, the convicts had spent over 8 years in solitary confinement and prayed for mercy. But the president sat on their petitions for another 11 years. In 2011, President Pratibha Patil rejected their mercy pleas. A date was fixed for their hanging, but the Madras High Court later stayed their execution. In February 2014, the Supreme Court commuted their death sentence to life on the grounds of inordinate delay in deciding their mercy petitions. The very next day, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Lalitha announced that her government would release all 7 convicts under Section 432 of the Criminal Procedure Code. The then Congress-led Union government challenged the state's decision and the Supreme Court ordered a stay on their release. A year later, the top court found that the Rajiv Gandhi case convicts cannot be released without the consent of the Union government. But Perarivalan, who had completed 2 degrees and even a book in prison, refused to give up hope. With his mother Arpudam Ammal, they were determined to explore every avenue that would help his case. Arpudam Ammal visited politicians and the Chief Minister. She met with Justice Krishna Iyer, who later wrote, "His soul is precious, his values noble, his jail life has not made him a criminal." At one point, Perarivalan even filed an RTI to a Pune jail to find out on what grounds actor Sanjay Dutt was released before he completed his 5-year jail term in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. In 2015, Perarivalan filed a mercy petition with the Tamil Nadu governor, seeking his release under Article 161 of the Constitution. When he received no response, he approached the Supreme Court. Then in October 2017, his case got another shot in the arm. Thiagarajan, the CBI officer who recorded Perarivalan's statement, told the Supreme Court that there were two parts to his confession. The first part was that he bought the batteries, which Thiagarajan included in the case. The second part, however, he omitted, where Perarivalan says that he did not know what the batteries were to be used for. Remember, the batteries that were given were believed to have been used in the bomb that killed Rajiv Gandhi. Thiagarajan's statement gathered more support for Perarivalan. Around the same time, Justice K.T. Thomas, who had upheld the death penalty against Perarivalan, wrote a letter to Congress President and Rajiv Gandhi's wife Sonia Gandhi, asking her to show magnanimity and pardon all the convicts. He received no reply. 11 months later, the Tamil Nadu cabinet, led by Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy, passed a resolution recommending the release of all 7 convicts. Yet again, the governor sat on the decision until January 2021, when the Supreme Court warned that it would be forced to release Perarivalan because of the governor's delay. Instead of replying to the Supreme Court, the governor forwarded the pleas to the president, who has also been sitting on the files. By freeing Perarivalan now, the Supreme Court has upheld human rights. In its order, the court observes that Perarivalan was 19 when he was arrested and has undergone a long incarceration, spending 16 years on death row and 29 years in solitary confinement. The court also said that his good behaviour in prison and on parole, his educational qualifications attained during his jail term, and the governor's delay in deciding his petition, despite the Tamil Nadu government's recommendations, were reasons for his release. The end of Perarivalan's long fight means one more thing. It gives a glimmer of hope to the other convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi case. However, apart from Nalini, things may not be so easy for the other convicts. In Perarivalan's case, there was this doubt that he was not part of the conspiracy. Moreover, Perarivalan was not a member of the LTTE, and there was no grounds to say that his release would be a menace to society. The brutalities during the final phase of the Sri Lankan Civil War that ended in 2009 also changed political attitudes in Tamil Nadu, with politicians like Jayalalitha coming out in support of releasing the convicts. Until then, very few politicians openly supported their release. What will happen to the other convicts in this case? We will continue to follow this story very closely. I just want to quickly inform you that the News Minute has launched YouTube channels for the News Minute Tamil and the News Minute Malayalam. Go and check it out and subscribe to these channels. Also, remember, for us to continue doing shows like Let Me Explain and putting out video content across our YouTube platforms, we need your support. So do become a member of the News Minute. The link is in the description. And as always, if you've liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends.